share your time and space with us. It's been an amazing journey from 2020 till now. And there's a list of thank yous for people that are actually not here now, like even Samina, who started off the conversation, Nahi. I feel like this is a project that's been able to be shared and spread throughout Innova. Like, we've touched everyone by being here and being supported by everyone. And the initial invitation came from an actual failure. I was applying for something else, and so Becky said, actually no, but your idea could live here somewhere. And actually it's those kind of risk-taking and brave and generous offers that allow you to make something that actually, rather than trying to fit into something else, is allowed to take the space and make the space for what it needs to be. And we conversed back and forth for a while, supported by Nai as well, so Becky and I was really thankful for the opportunity to start to think about publishing. I was very focused on collective writing and not really thinking about so much what happens afterwards, because it was more about the ceremony, the togetherness, the occasion and the experience of writing, or what can then become mark making or drawing, but centering on writing first. And I was interested in publications like Passion Discourses of Black Women's Creativity, which is a book alongside others that is out of print now, and is a massive influence for trying to find ways to navigate knowledge that is now obscure and rare and expensive into plentiful, abundant and available. And Sapake said, Lauren, are you trying to think about publishing? And I said, well, no, I don't think so. And Sapake shared with me a lot of what was going on at Innova in terms of expanded platforms for publishing and experimenting in different ways. And we decided then to think about collectives and artists who are writing and publishing and finding alternative, expansive, experimental, radical and challenging ways to publish. And we reached out to Amber and Sadia and also Laundry Arts, Georgina, for the first phase of the project, which was a roundtable online. So we're going back to pandemic days as well, so just to contextualise us. And we were very much at that point thinking about an audio-visual exhibition, because we wouldn't have been able to be together in space. And so we thought then about moving into phase 2, which was a set of one-to-one performances, audio, where I had designed a set of questions that had come out of a conceptual modality called SEPLs, which my work is settled within. And out of that modality, I had selected sustainability, presencing, and sensitivity as the central themes for how we would start to explore and collaborate together. So I designed a set of questions that we performed to, very much like a score, and the audio collages are set amongst the bookshelves here, nestled amongst some of the out of print texts, Black feminist print texts that are no longer available to us except within institutions or with loads of money. And they are interlinked with soundscapes that I collaborated with sound artists to make. And then the world opened up, and we had the beautiful invitation from Sapake to be within the Stuart Hall Library and to therefore contextualise and question ideas about cultural futures within the space. Prior to that stage, I had written a score that you see on the window, which faces inwards and outwards and obscures your view to invite you to question this space, what Innovate can be and do in terms of supporting us to explore cultural theory outside of academic English language, and for us to focus on coming into the library and experiencing the artworks. That took us really to the third phase of our time together, which was very much then about the artist being able to respond in physical form, in physical space. You feel come to me? Say a little bit about your work?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting because we all, myself, Fuzia and Amber, kind of work in digital mediums, but at the opportunity to do something in the library, I think it's 20% coming out of lockdown and being able to be with people, and 80% Lauren's aura that made us feel like we should do something tactile to really honour the kind of, I really think it was the kind of the modality was that made us feel like it has to be tactile, it has to be multi-sensory, and we didn't necessarily even talk about what our plans were for the works, and they capture every sense, and they also capture ideas of the imaginary archive, and I think we were really responding after the conversations to the idea that these, like you said, these knowledges are kind of held in institutions. They're also really rare and exciting because, especially we're looking at text by women of the global south in the context of 70s UK, published in academic spaces, which is super rare. Also very traumatic to read. And then to respond to that, how are you meant to respond to that without kind of inhabiting the trauma again? And I think because of the Sepples modality, we really were kind of gently guided to do something more empowering and caring. And I think that's why our work turned out like it was. I could say a tiny bit about mine, which is a photograph of my mum in the 70s. She immigrated to the UK in the 70s, and that's a photo of her going back home to Manila with a bunch of tourist gifts back home. But she's got box. Yeah. So then she also has this bag, and I still have it now. And so I used the bag to kind of imagine what was in her bag at the time and fictionalize the contents of it. And me and Lauren talked about the idea of the Thrivival kit. So in the bag is a book that isn't yet published in the 70s, but it's in her bag in the 70s.
Science fiction.
Yeah, exactly. Speculative. But it's Uncut Funk by Bell Hooks in Singapore, which is I kind of see it as a book of strategies for surviving in 70s UK. Sorry, 90s. So there are these objects that feel like ways to protect yourself in countries like the UK with a lot of hostility still today. But also spaces of care and love, like a photo of my mum and dad, who was super cool looking interracial couple in the 70s with massive collar, and also religious items that for her are very protective amulets, but at the same time really representative of Catholic colonialism in countries like the Philippines. So it holds a lot of things that it's okay to have the difficulties and the joy at the same time, and it's not about dealing with it. It's just to kind of let them be there together and jumble and disperse, which was the point. So I hope that came across.
The piece is called Portal?
Portal, yeah. Which is also a piece, that's the same name of a piece that you've done, which is cute. Yeah. Do you want to?
I mean, you've mentioned that we started this in 2020, the conversation started in 2020. I feel like we've all been on different journeys since then. That's 3 years. So I know for me and my work, it represents a specific journey that I went on, about learning about my great-great-grandfather who was born in Brazil, and he later moved to Nigeria. So I found his story in a book, and this book is so hard to get a hold of. So even the book that is here is not the exact book that I would love to reference, but it's just so hard to get a hold of. And I think that speaks to a lot of the themes that we
Absolutely.
all talked about. But in that book, anyway, it has like loads of different interviews with my great-great-grandfather about how he missed Brazil and things like that. But I got to go to Brazil last year, so there's a lot of photos as well.
So Beatrice mentioned that she's only been here for a year. So when we first started the project, this book was pretty much out of reach for us, and getting hold of it in this country was pretty much impossible. But Beatrice has now found a copy for £1.
In Brazil. It does cost £700 to get there. But nothing that anyone can call.
As did Sadia find a copy of Passion for £10. So
Yeah.
it feels like it's the right place at the right time. How about a little bit about the wood chickens? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing a few different history tours in Brazil, and I learned about how Brazil is what the country is named after. And I feel like there's it links to like the foundation of Brazil, but also like the foundation of my knowledge with my book, and like the pages of the book, because that book is really like the foundation of my knowledge of my Brazilian connection with my great-great-grandfather.
The bookmark? The bookmark?
It's just really pretty.
Really?
I got it again in Brazil at it was a exhibition in Sao Paulo, and it was actually a show on at the time about like highlighting Afro-Brazilians, and it was a really beautiful show. I felt like I saw my great-great-grandfather in a lot of the people who were like portrayed in the exhibition.
Yeah. I think it's perfect actually. You might be able to support me a bit to talk about Fusia's work as well. But to see your handwritten postcards and to see your jewellery, I think it's been something quite amazing for me, and like a massive honour to be trusted to support the artist in kind of coming out in this way to a certain extent, because as Sadia said, all of the artists are known mainly as people in publishing or working digitally, but all of them have a practice that is embodied, that uses traditional art forms, and that's something that I didn't expect to happen. That's something that I didn't write in a score, didn't expect them to respond in, and it wasn't really written to happen in that way, but to have these actual physical pieces, it's pretty, it's pretty mind-blowing. And so you see Fusia Johnson's work as you come in, the oil painting, oil on canvas. It's called Seeping, and it very much talks about the interlinked social and environmental drivers, mainly embodied in the artist's life in the UK, but looking at connections to Somali heritage also. The work also references the architectural lines in cities, in buildings, and that's why you get the geometric shapes. Did I miss anything?
The sense of the sun, the perfume smells.
So the next piece that you see in the small cubby hole, I don't know what to call it, but I love that. It's like a kind of serving hatch. There's something really kind of offering about that space where you can see between the two spaces, and you often have someone kind and knowledgeable sitting on the other side. But Fusi has placed a box of scents, 10 different scents, of which are listed on the wall, and they're to be offered to you to take and to enjoy throughout the library and on your journeys outside. The printed piece, the poetic piece next to it, is actually part of the same work. They go together. And I can't remember anything else.
Well, please join me in thanking all three of you. So, bye, Sadia. Sadia, Amber, Lauren, Beatrice. Thank you so much. Bye.